Yes, students, look at the board. Just now we have completed the allergic rhinitis. Now let us come to the another allergic disorder of the respiratory system called asthma. Okay, look at the board. It is an allergic disorder of the bronchi and bronchioles, characterized by breathing difficulties. It is an allergic disorder of the bronchi and bronchioles, characterized by breathing difficulties. Or you can say that it is an allergic disorder of the lower respiratory tract, allergic disorder of the upper respiratory tract, allergic disorder of the lower respiratory tract. That also you can say that. It is an allergic disorder of the bronchi and bronchioles or lower respiratory tract, characterized by the breathing difficulties. Characterized by breathing difficulties. Got it what I'm telling you. So it is an allergic reaction actually, caused due to the entry of foreign materials into the bronchi. It is an allergic reaction actually. See, this is the bronchi. Internally, as we discussed in the last class, bronchi lining by pseudostratified ciliated epithelium along with mucus secreting goblet cells. This is called goblet cell action. And bronchioles are lined by smooth muscle fibers. Internally, bronchioles are lined by smooth muscle fibers. Bronchi lined by pseudostratified ciliated epithelium along with mucus secreting goblet cells. Look at the board. When foreign material, nothing but allergen, enters into the bronchi now, enters into the bronchi, the goblet cells secrete large quantity of the mucus. Goblet cells secrete large quantity of the mucus. So like this one. Then the smooth muscle fibers of the bronchioles now contract. Smooth muscle fibers of the bronchioles contract. Hence, the air passages become narrow. Then the person finds very difficult to breathe out. Person finds very difficult to breathe out. That should keep in our mind. I think it is very clear for you. Okay, I'll repeat once again. Asthma is an allergic disorder of the bronchi and bronchioles, characterized by breathing difficulties. It is an allergic reaction caused due to the entry of foreign substances into the bronchi and bronchioles. Due to the entry of foreign substances into the bronchi, the goblet cells of the bronchi secrete large quantity of mucus and smooth muscle fibers of the bronchioles contract. Hence, the air passages become narrow. Then the person finds very difficult to breathe out. Clear? I think it is very clear. The most common symptoms of asthma are the most common symptoms or effects of asthma are the wheezing, difficulty in breathing, difficulty in breathing, difficulty in breathing, difficulty in breathing, chest tightness, chest tightness, chest tightness, and production of thick production of thick viscoid sputum, production of the thick viscoid sputum, and it is also characterized by production of the thick viscoid sputum. Got it? What I'm telling you. Okay, wheezing, then persistent coughing. So these are the common symptoms of the asthma or effects of the asthma. Wheezing ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಉಸಿರಾಡುವಾಗ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟಿ ಇನ್ ಬ್ರೀತಿಂಗ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏರ್ ಪ್ಯಾಸೇಜಸ್ ನ್ಯಾರೋ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ದ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಬ್ರೀತ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ. Got it? Chest tightness, production of thick viscoid sputum and persistent coughing. ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕಫಿಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಗಡ್ಡೆ ತರ ತಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಥಿಕ್ ವಿಸ್ಕಾಯ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಪುಟಮ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆಸ್ತಮಾ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಯು ಯು ಬಿಲೀವ್ ಇಟ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನೋಡಿ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ದೀಸ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ ಆಸ್ಥಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಓಕೆ ಲೆಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಬಿ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ದಟ್ ದೆನ್ ಆಸ್ತಮಾ ಈಸ್ ಟೂ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ Asthma is of two types. One is the extrinsic asthma. One is the extrinsic asthma. Another one is the intrinsic asthma. Extrinsic asthma and intrinsic asthma. These are the two types actually. Extrinsic asthma, it occurs in early childhood or an early adulthood. Extrinsic asthma, it occurs in early childhood or an early adulthood. The main cause for the extrinsic asthma is the pollen grains. Pollen grains. Okay, or you can say that allergens like pollen grains, house dust, animal dandruff, fungal spores, etc. These patients have the family history of allergic diseases like rhinitis. These patients have the family history of allergic diseases like rhinitis. That means our family members ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ allergic rhinitis ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಕ್ ಆಸ್ಮಾ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. That is the meaning of that sentence. So these patients have family history of allergic diseases like allergic rhinitis. Clear? Huh? Okay. Now let us come to the intrinsic asthma. It occurs in people who are more than 40 years of age. It occurs in people who are more than 40 years of age. Intrinsic asthma. It is mainly caused due to the bacterial infection of the respiratory tract. It is mainly caused due to bacterial infection of the respiratory tract. Bacterial infection of the respiratory tract. That is the major cause for the intrinsic asthma. I'll repeat once again. Asthma is of two types: extrinsic asthma and intrinsic asthma. The extrinsic asthma it occurs in early childhood or in early adulthood. Clear? Mainly caused due to the allergens like pollen grains, house dust, animal dandruff, etc. These patients have family history of allergic diseases like rhinitis. Got it? Sorry. Intrinsic asthma occurs in people who are more than 40 years of age. It is mainly caused due to the bacterial infection of the respiratory tract. And these patients do not have family history of allergic diseases like rhinitis. I think it is very clear for you. Next, let us come to the treatment for this. Let us come to the treatment. Listen to me. It can be treated by bronchodilator drugs, bronchodilator and steroid drugs. Bronchodilator and steroid drugs. That is should remember. It can be treated by bronchodilator and steroid drugs. So asthmatic patients can use these drugs now, either in the form of tablets or in the form of inhalers. Asthmatic patients can use these drugs either in the form of tablets or inhalers. By splitting this word, you can get the meaning actually. As we discussed earlier, when an foreign substances enters the bronchi, goblet cells secrete large quantity of mucus. Then smooth muscle fibers undergo contraction. Hence, the air passages become narrow. That time, person finds very difficult to breathe out. That we have discussed. ಯಾವಾಗ ಈ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾನೋ they always increase the lumen of the bronchi, bronchodilator. Those drugs which increase the lumen of the bronchi are called bronchodilator drugs. ಅವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಗೆ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ನೋ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಬಂತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪಾಪ ಆಸ್ಥ್ಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಪೇಷಂಟ್ಸ್ ನರ್ಕನೇ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಅವ್ರೇನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೂ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ದ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಹೂ ಆರ್ ಸಫರಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಆಸ್ತಮಾ ನೋವು ಆಸ್ತಮಾ ಗಡೆ ನೋಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಾಡಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ವಾರ್ಮೇ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಇತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಗಡ್ಡೆ ಕಟ್ಟುತ್ತೆ, ಆವಾಗ ಸ್ಪೇಸ್ ಫುಲ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ದೇ ವೋಂಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಸಫಿಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಸಸ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ. ಅಟ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಫೈಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ರೀತ್ ಔಟ್. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಬಾಡಿ ವಾರ್ಮೇ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಎ ಸಿ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಮಲ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಹಾಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಏನೂ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬಾಡಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ವಾರ್ಮೇ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ನೈಟ್ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಅವರು ಈ ಬ್ರಾಂಕೋಡೈಲೇಟರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟೆರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸೀಸನ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅವರು ಫೈಂಡ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಟು ಬ್ರೀತ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್, ಬ್ರಾಂಕೋಡೈಲೇಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆರಾಯ್ಡ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್. That is should remember here. I think it is very clear for you. So this is the treatment for the asthma. Bronchodilated drugs and steroid drugs. As I said, asthmatic patients can use these drugs now either in the form of tablets or inhalers. Then intrinsic asthma, or you can say that asthma due to the bacterial infection can be treated by using antibiotics. Asthma, due to the bacterial infection, is can be treated by using antibiotics. Antibiotics ಇಂದ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೀರಿಯಾನ ನಾವು ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. Clear? So this much you should remember under the asthma. I'll repeat once again. It is an allergic disorder of the lower respiratory tract or bronchi and bronchioles characterized by breathing difficulties. It is an allergic reaction. When the foreign material enters the bronchi, the goblet cells present in the bronchi secrete large quantity of mucus and smooth muscle fibers of the bronchioles contract. Hence, the air passages become narrow and the person finds very difficult to breathe out. The most effects or symptoms of asthma are the wheezing, difficulty in breathing, chest tightness, okay, then persistent coughing and production of thick viscous sputum. They are of two types, extrinsic and intrinsic asthma. Extrinsic asthma occurs in early childhood or in early adulthood, mainly caused due to the allergens, pollen grains, house dust, animal dandruff, etc. And these patients have family history of allergic diseases like rhinitis. Intrinsic asthma occurs in people who are more than 40 years of age, and it is mainly caused due to the bacterial infection of the respiratory tract. And these patients do not have family history of allergic diseases like rhinitis. It can be treated by bronchodilator and steroid drugs. As I said, asthmatic patients can use these drugs either in the form of tablets or inhalers. Then, asthma due to the bacterial infection can be treated by taking antibiotics. Clear? Okay. Next, third disease is the bronchitis. This is it is also not in your syllabus. Just you remember for the competitive exams. Inflammation of the bronchi is called bronchitis. Inflammation of the bronchi is called bronchitis. It is also an allergic disorder of the bronchi. It is an also allergic disorder of the bronchi. It is of two types actually. Acute bronchitis, and chronic bronchitis. Acute bronchitis and chronic bronchitis. Initial stage of the bronchitis is called acute. Advanced stage is nothing but chronic bronchitis. Got it? So, inflammation of the bronchi is called bronchitis. It is of two types, acute and chronic. One more point, students. You believe it or not, in major polluted cities, so most of the tropic people are suffering from the asthma and bronchitis. ಪಾಪ ಅವರು ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಲಕ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ಬಿಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಗ್ಯಾಸ್ಗೆ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೇ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನೋಡಿ ಅಂಥವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಗ ಆಸ್ತಮಾ ಬ್ರಾಂಕೈಟಿಸ್ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ದೀಸ್ ತ್ರೀ ಆರ್ ದ ಅಲರ್ಜಿಕ್ ಡಿಸಾರ್ಡರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ರೆಸ್ಪಿರೇಟರಿ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್. Allergic rhinitis, asthma and bronchitis. Clear? Next. Fourth disease according to your NCERT book is the emphysema. 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 This is also, actually it is a symptom of the lung cancer. But in your book they have given the disease only, emphysema. As I said, it is a symptom of the lung cancer. That is should keep in our mind. It is a symptom of the lung cancer, emphysema. That is should remember here. According to your NCERT book, you have to remember only the definition. Actually, it is a, as I said, symptom of the lung cancer. You know that the most common causes for the lung cancer are the cigarette smoking, one, the cigarette smoking, then inhalation of the irritating substances, inhalation of the irritating substances, cigarette smoking, inhalation of the irritating substances, chronic bronchitis. Appearance of any one of these conditions, the person may get the emphysema. Got it? What I'm telling? Okay. Now let us come to the what is the meaning of the emphysema. Emphysema is a chronic disorder of the lungs in which the alveolar walls are damaged due to due to respiratory surface. Due to this, no, the respiratory surface area decreases. Got it? What I'm telling you? I think it is very clear for you. Emphysema is a chronic disorder of the lungs in which alveolar walls are damaged. Alveolar walls are damaged, due to which respiratory surface area decreases. At that time, the person finds very difficult to breathe out. Got it? What I'm telling you? I think it is very clear for you. So, emphysema, it is a chronic disorder of the lungs in which alveolar walls are damaged. Okay, due to which the respiratory surface area in the alveoli decreases. At that time, the person finds too difficult to breathe out. This condition is called emphysema. As I said, cigarette smoking. You know that cigarette smoke contain cancer-causing chemical called 3,4-bench-pyrene, and continuous exposure to the irritating substance or inhalation of the irritating substances, chronic bronchitis, are the major causes for the emphysema. I'll repeat once again. It is a chronic disorder of the lungs in which alveolar walls are damaged. Due to the damage of the alveolar walls, no, the respiratory surface area within the alveoli decreases. At that time, the person finds very difficult to breathe out. Clear? So, as I said, cigarette smoking, chronic bronchitis, inhalation of the irritating substances are the major causes for the emphysema. I think this is clear for you. So this is the another respiratory disease. Got it? Next, last one is the occupational lung disorders. Occupational lung disorders. Occupational lung disorders. Okay, occupational lung disorders. Look at the board. Occupational lung disorders. Here, some industries like grinding industries, polishing industries, stone crushers, cotton industries, etc. They release excess amount of particulate dust continuously. Got it? No? Industries like grinding industries. Okay, then even the what is that mining activities also you can take. Cotton industries, stone crushers, etc. These industries are always release the excess amount of particulate dust continuously. Got it? No? Particulate dust is nothing but fine dust actually. Sometimes we can't able to see by naked eye. Anta fine dust ಅನ್ನ continuous ಆಗಿ industries release ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Suppose if the workers are continuously exposed to that kind of particulate dust now, definitely they suffer from the inflammation of the lungs actually. They suffer from the inflammation of the lungs, which leads to fibrosis. Inflammation of the lungs, which leads to the fibrosis. It leads to the fibrosis. That you should keep in mind. Here, the fibrosis is nothing but proliferation of the fibrous tissue in the cardiac. Proliferation of the fibrous tissue. Then it leads to the serious damage to the lungs. Then it leads to the serious damage to the lungs. That is why those people who are working in these kinds of industries now, compulsory they should use the protective clothes, masks, etc. Got it? What I'm telling you. So that is nothing but occupational lung disorders. I think it is very clear. I'll repeat once again. The industries like the grinding industries, got it now, polishing industries, then stone crushers, mining activities, cotton industries, etc. They always release the very excess amount of particulate dust continuously. The people who are working in these industries now, definitely they continuously exposed to that kind of particulate fine dust. Then it causes the inflammation of the lungs. Inflammation of the lungs, which leads to the fibrosis, proliferation of the fibrous tissues. Then it causes serious damage to the lungs. That is why the persons who are working in these industries compulsory they should use the protective clothes and masks in order to prevent the entry of particulate fine dust into their respiratory tract. Clear? These are the preventive measures for the occupational lung disorders. I think it is very clear for you. So these are the diseases of the respiratory system that you should keep in mind. So allergic, actually in your book asthma one sentence is there. Then emphysema is the occupational lung disorders. Only three are there. Two more extra we have discussed actually. Allergic rhinitis, asthma, bronchitis. These three are the allergic disorder of the respiratory tract. Emphysema is the symptom of the lung cancer actually. Then occupational lung disorders. Clear? So with this we have completed the breathing and exchange of gases that you should keep in our mind. I think it is very clear for you. Okay, thank you.